the longer I do Weekly 50, the more I find myself seeing derivatives of other photos. And I'll post a photo now that will look similar to something I posted in the past. And that's just how photography is, where you or any art, I guess. Certainly it's important to create original works, but it's also important to revisit things and techniques and locations that you've already photographed before and see what you can do with them again. And that's what's kind of interesting about this photo, at least to me anyway. I have almost no photos like this in my collection on the blog or elsewhere. And it's fun to try this stuff. This is a technique. I don't even know what you call this technique, but it's the kind of thing that you can do if you have ND filters or neutral density filters and the right conditions. It's not hard to get this picture at all, but you have to be at a location that allows for this sort of thing. You have to have an ND filter or some way to slow down the aperture on your camera. And there's a couple of different things that you need to get a picture like this. For me, the big thing is finding the location. And we don't have stuff like this in Stillwater in Oklahoma. But on a weekend in mid-May, my family took a trip down to the Chickasaw National Recreation Area, which sounds like a park, and I guess it is, but it's a national park. It's part of the national park system. So recreation area, it's not like an outdoor gym. It's a giant wildlife preserve. I mean, it's a national park. And they have these streams that wind their way through the park. And this photo is called Antelope Springs because about, I don't know, 300 yards back, as you're looking back in to the background of this photo, about 300 yards back there is the mouth of this stream, and it's called Antelope Springs. So we went to this park, hiked around a whole bunch, waded in streams a whole bunch, and we're walking down this path, and I came across this scene here, and I thought this would be perfect for a longer exposure image, the kind that I don't normally get to do. I had the Fuji because the Fuji is awesome. I talk about it all the time here because it's my favorite camera. And one of the nice things about it has this built-in ND filter. So with the push of a button, you can activate basically a set of sunglasses for the camera. It allows you to leave the shutter open longer and still get a nicely exposed photo. Here you're looking at a half-second exposure, and I didn't have a tripod, or I did have a tripod, but it was in the car. And I had to just basically hold the camera really still, and I took a series of shots in rapid succession using the motor drive function, and ended up with one or two that were pretty stable. And this is one of those. It's actually not super stable. If you zoom into 100%, you can see in the background some of the rocks are a little blurry because the camera did move just slightly in that half a second. But I was able to get the type of picture that I usually don't take. This looks like some sort of violent waterfall. It's actually just a trickling stream, but the longer exposure makes these super cool motion trails that you don't normally get to see. So it's a fun photo to take.